Hello everyone, this is Dawn over at Plot Chronicles. I've got to tell you about a dark book that I read, dark psychological thriller. Let's get started and talk about it. I've kind of decided that dark psychological thrillers are not for me. I love psychological thrillers, but when they're so dark, you know, it kind of takes away from me from the entertainment factor. But this particular book I'm about to tell you has been highly recommended by so many people, and I've not known one person that's rated this book poorly. But it's called Jar of Hearts by Jennifer Hillier. I've not read any of her books, and this book was something. Let me just say that. I'm going to tell you the basics of the book, and like one of you told me, one of you said this. You said, you know, yes, you can tell us about books, but it's our responsibility as adults to do our research to see if this is a book we want to read, because everyone has different books they like, and what's a good fit for one person isn't for someone else. I agree. And so I kind of like reading more entertaining books than these dark psychological thrillers. So this particular book, I'll just say this. There's a girl named Gio. She's a pharmaceutical rep, okay? She, back in high school, had a boyfriend named Kelvin. He was not a good person and not a good influence, okay? At all. And so anyway, she starts dating him. Now, at the beginning of the book, she's an adult. When she starts dating him, and like I said, he's not a good influence, and you know, he's just a cheater and just not a good person. Well, she has a girlfriend named Angela. Her and her Angela are both cheerleaders and things like that. Well, Angela ends up going missing, and you find out later she's unalived. Well, and you know, you'll find this out in the story. This Kelvin is an alleged strangler, and by the way, sorry about any car alarm that goes off in the background. She's unalived. And so she ends up going missing. So she's found later, and Calvin is accused of this, and Gio, his girlfriend back then, is accused of covering it up. You will find out more about that and what happens. But what this book kind of taught me is you need to be careful of who your friends are and who you're hanging around. Because my mother used to say this, one bad apple you put in a bag and what happens to all the other bags of apples? Guess what? They all end up rotten, right? Kind of like what this happens. So, you know, bottom line is a crime was committed. Kelvin and this Gio cover it up. They get found out later, so he ends up going to jail, and she ends up going to jail for a while. And it's kind of the story of what happens with that. But there is a big, huge, major twist towards the end of the book. But the book is just basically kind of, in a way, it kind of made me sad, because it's the lost life of this her name is Georgina. It's the lost life of this Georgina, that she would have had a really good life if she wouldn't have gotten herself involved with this guy Kelvin. Because basically, it's the choices he made and choices she made that basically, I think, ruined her life, in my opinion. But there is this person out there that is, I guess you would say, a serial strangler, okay? And they think it's this Kelvin person. You'll find out in the story. Also, there is a person from their school agent that his name is Kaiser, and he's the one that works for the police department, and he's always been crazy about this Georgina. So there's a story about that too. So there's multiple storylines. It is somewhat interesting, but for some reason it just made me sad, because to be honest with you, there wasn't any person in the book that was a really good person that you were rooting for, okay? That's number one. Number two, it didn't end with kind of a promising ending, you know? So I think it's an okay book. And it might keep your interest, but it's really dark and kind of depressing in my end. I kind of like reading more fun and entertaining type books, but a lot of people love it. It's called Jar of Hearts by Jennifer Hillier. Bottom line, I'm going to sum it up. Watch who you're hanging around with and watch who you trust in your life, because if your behavior starts going down, like my mother always said, you're hanging around a bad apple that's going to bring you down with them. And that's kind of what this book reminded me of. Have you guys read any of Jennifer Hillier books? I'd love to know. That's all I have to say for now. Love you, appreciate you, and hope to see you on the next video. Bye, everybody.